genuinely cannot believe I'm saying.
All right, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. It's the brother of Yahawah. Here with another hopeful, edifying lesson to the elect body of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi. This world is being ran by the elites, man. The elites of the nation of Edom. They are the ones that control the financial or the money aspect of the whole world, man. Like these families that no one knows about, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Bilderbergs, the Waltons, and not the Bilderbergs, that's the Bilderbergs. What is this? Morgans, which the Rockefellers created the Bilderberg group. But these major families, they control the world. And then you're going to see in this video, that I created, that I put together, it's going to tell you how much influence that these people with all this money has, even on your very government, that they buy your politicians, to sway whatever ideology that they want to be pushed, and it's gonna go forth because they got all the money. So them having all the money, they basically sway the powers. Because I think it was one of the Rockefellers was saying, it was a Rockefeller that says, if I control the world's currency, who cares to make the laws or something like that. I think that's what it might be. Let me see. Control. Who cares? I guess it's the Rothschilds, which they'd probably say a conspiracy or some made up or whatever. We're going to just see what it says. It says that quote was not said by a Rockefeller. It was actually a famous saying that many people mistakenly attribute to the Rothschild family, right? The original phrase is typically written as, "Give me control of a nation's money. I care not who makes the law," right? So basically that was that's what it is, except for the Rothschild. So it must have been was this guy Jacob Rothschild, more or less, probably, or somebody of the Rothschild family, whoever it was, But basically that's they even showing you that that whoever has the money controls the world, man. So we've been saying it from the elders, the apostles and the elders, been giving out this understanding that there's an elite class of people that runs the world, the ones that run your current world banking systems, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers for the most part, right? Also the Morgans, Waltons and many others, right? That really are in the background or in the dark or in the shadows, that control the world, that control these figures that you see today, like your current president of Babylon, which is Donald Trump. They control these figures. And these ones that you see, like these billionaires or multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires, trillionaires, or speaking of this guy, Elon Musk, that he's claiming to be the first trillionaire, whatever, which he's not. They are just the face of the elites, you know, also like just like I'm losing my train of thought of these devils, these CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg, you know, Elon Musk, then and all the rest of them, man. You know, I'm losing my train of thought in these devils, because you know nobody knows nothing of these devils, and that's how they want it. That's how they want it. Nobody talks about them, even to these CEOs of the day, because basically the reason why they don't want to talk about these individuals or families or whatever, because they can't do anything about it. So more or less, it's a psychological plan. If I don't know it, whether it's out of my you know, it doesn't exist. Basically, if I don't speak on it, it doesn't exist. So that's how a lot of these people trying to look at the situation of these elites that run the world, even to these ones that is in your face constantly, and these plans that they bring forth. A lot of people just want to ignore what they're doing, you know, because they can't do anything about the situation anyway. So they just choose to ignore it. You know, they don't want to talk about it. But I'm gonna go and play this video, which is gonna show you how much control these people with, even the ones you see today, that got how much influence they got, even in your current government of Babylon.
I genuinely cannot believe I'm saying this, and that is not a top-of-the-page headline story across the country, but the U.S. Army just swore in 4 tech executives as lieutenant colonels. The CTO of Palantir, Peter Thiel's company, the CTO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's company, and OpenAI's chief product officer and former chief research officer, the company belonging to Sam Altman. These 4 men are all now one rank away from a general, second in command for field-grade officers. There are 16 ranks lower than a lieutenant colonel, and these 4 untrained civilians just leapfrogged over soldiers who have dedicated their entire career and lives to the U.S. military. Apparently, these men are going to work on targeted projects to help guide rapid and scalable tech solutions to complex problems. A sentence that means absolutely nothing, because clearly this is just a way of giving these companies access to top secret information without them having to go through any pesky background checks. And if that doesn't scare you, it really should. Because we already know that Palantir is building a massive centralized database using much of the information they acquired from Doge, Elon Musk's foray into the American government. These billionaire tech bros are compiling lists of our most sensitive information: our tax records, medical data, bank accounts, social security information, immigration status. This administration is allowing them to build the infrastructure for techno-feudalism, authoritarianism in the form of data and surveillance. It is a horrifying and blatant conflict of interest that harms the safety and security of all Americans. There should not be this much overlap between private tech and the U.S. government. Certainly not between private tech and the U.S. military. I do not know how asleep the wheel Congress could possibly be, but they should be shutting this down immediately. And every single one of us should be demanding that they do it. The people who are using the government against you are now taking over military authority. The corruption is calculated and staggering, and I can only hope our veterans and active duty military are paying incredibly close attention.
Everybody in Congress got
And now you know, you should be talking about it.
They got to go.
So she told you how much, you know, how much influence that these tech billionaires, these billionaires in general, even they got heads of seat of like close to superior officers of the military, man, you know, and they're buying their way into your government to push their agenda. And one of them is, you know, this basically to bring about the fourth industrial revolution, which is the new world order, which is the plans of the elites, like I was mentioning these families that really run the world, your banking system families, the ones that own the world banking systems, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, right, Morgans, and the rest of them, all these families that own these corporations, and even from your money systems, the current money systems, they are controlling the ways you people live your lives, and they're getting more and more control over it as the advancement of technology. So these devils can portray like they're the most high through this technology. They can, like they were saying, they got all you people's information from any record on you. They collecting it, which is a violation of compromising of privacy, basically, man. They are violating your right to privacy and everything else, and they're going forth because it's the agendas of the elites, the elite class, and these tech billionaires that they mentioned, like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, this guy from Amazon, and the rest of them, Bill Gates, and the rest of them, they're just the face of the elites. But the ones that really run the world in the background, you don't see these people that often, or not at all.
Reported that President Trump had fundraised an unprecedented $800 million during his second term. We wanted to know, what does that fundraising look like, and which companies were cutting checks? Trump's opinion about fundraising has dramatically shifted since 2015 when he first ran for president.
Super PACs are a disaster. They're a scam. They cause dishonesty. And you better get rid of them.
Now, in his second term, he's largely embraced and sought out large checks from corporate America.
I have so many friends, and so many of you have been really, really generous. A couple of you are sitting here saying, sir, would $25 million be appropriate? I said, I'll take it.
As we were making our phone calls to report out this project, the name...
Would $25 million be appropriate? He said, yeah, I'll take it. And this was fair use on United States Code, Chapter 17, subsection 107, Fair Use Act. This is for commentary and educational purposes. United States Code, Chapter 17, subsection 107, the Fair Use Act, right? So he said, whoever got this check, $25 million, I take it. Like I said, your Congress is your politicians are bought and paid for. They are basically your presidents are selected. They are not elected by the people, and the elites chose your current commander in chief today. He was chosen by the elites to be this guy that he represents today.
Meredith O'Rourke kept coming out.
Super PACs are a disaster. They're a scam. They cause dishonesty. And you better get rid of them.
Now, in his second term, he's largely embraced and sought out large checks from corporate America.
I have so many friends, and so many of you have been really, really generous. A couple of you are sitting here saying, sir, would $25 million be appropriate? I said, I'll take it.
As we were making our phone calls to report out this project, the name Meredith O'Rourke kept coming up. And she is Trump's top fundraiser. She is often the person calling CEOs or heads of government at these companies asking for big checks for various projects. She's become one of the most powerful people in fundraising, but isn't a name that most people in America know. Meredith is at Trump's side a lot.
This Meredith character is a name that not much people know. No, more or less, more so the elites that really run the world. Like I said, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. These people are not too well known by the public. They are the ones that really run the world in the background. And then even this lady right here, she's not even known to a lot of people. Well, she's not the only one. There's many of them that's not known. So how more so was it Meredith O'Rourke, or whatever his last name is, fundraiser for President Trump. She's giving President Trump a lot of money. She's in the background. She's there, but she's in the background. Nobody knows too much about her.
often the person calling.
Super PACs are a disaster. They're a scam. They cause dishonesty, and you better get rid of them.
Now, in his second term, he's largely embraced and sought out large checks from corporate America.
I mean, I have so many friends, and so many of you have been really, really generous. I mean, a couple of you are sitting here saying, sir, would $25 million be appropriate? I said, I'll take it.
As we were making our phone calls to report out this project, the name Meredith O'Rourke kept coming up. And she is Trump's top fundraiser. She is often the person calling CEOs or heads of government at these companies asking for big checks for various projects. She's become one of the most powerful people in fundraising, but isn't a name that most people in America know. Meredith is at Trump's side a lot, even though she's not a government employee. She sends out invites for $1 million a seat candlelight dinners at the White House and other Trump properties for CEOs. She flies aboard Air Force One, she sits in on some of these meetings where the CEOs attend, and she's become a very close confidant for the president. The president refers to Meredith as the Princess of Darkness, and that's because she's such a killer with donors. We had 4.
So I guess she's the one that make these deals with these corporate CEOs. She's the donor or whatever, the head person that makes it happen. But nonetheless, she's got an important role. Nobody knows about her. You know, I guess that's what her job is. She make these connections, more or less like a secretary status, basically. She's some donor secretary, head donor secretary, basically. She put these plans together to get these CEOs to make way for these CEOs to meet President Trump or something, right?
Reporters on this story, and across the 4 of us, we spoke to more than 100 sources. We learned that in these phone calls with companies, Meredith repeatedly invokes President Trump's name. She will say things like, "The boss wants this money." We were told.
Let me go back. What was her title? The Princess of Darkness, right?
For the president. The president refers to Meredith as the Princess of Darkness.
And that's what I want to point out. She's the Princess of Darkness. And there's a scripture that comes to mind in Ephesians 6, right? Which that's what this world is ran by. You know, the powers of darkness. She is known as the Princess of Darkness, right? So it's Ephesians 6 and 10. It says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." Right? Because these wiles means trickery, man. You know, so that's what this devil Esau's coming with, all power, signs, and lying wonders, and he's become a master of deception, as it says in Daniel chapter 8 and 25. I think it's in the New Living Translation. That he's the master of deception. That's what wiles means, trickery. So these devils are tricking people into believing this and believing that. Look at what's going on with this Fauci character, with this fraud Fauci character. That was a wile of the devil to make people accept and receive this medication of being poked by this serpent, you know, with his fangs, basically. For an example, you got stung by this devil with his fangs, man, to give you his poison. So that was a wild of the devil, and a lot of people fell for it, and a lot of people paid for it with their lives. Some of them been deleted, millions of them been deleted worldwide. Millions got permanent disabled and other things, man. That was a wild of the devil, and this devil is pleading the fifth. You know, he's pleading the fifth. You won't even answer the question, which he already basically admitted to it. That, like I said, there was which I'm gonna say now, there was an article that was done by Yahoo about this Fauci guy. He admitted, he said, "What you want us to do? tests like this or experiments like this in Fairfax, Virginia, or some other city from a state in America. He said, "Oh, you want us to do it in another country? Because if through the actions of maybe there's an outbreak, like if there's an outbreak, basically, would you want us to do these type of experiments in in Fairfax, Virginia, or some other country or city, not country, but some other state and city in America, or would you want us to do this in another country?" So basically, he was admitting it. He already admitted it, but they no longer have that video. I think it's just the article there, and I think the article doesn't say everything that he was saying in the video, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't have a chance to read that whole entire article, but they did have a video of him actually admitting it. You know, that's what this was. That's what it was all about. So I'm gonna read it again. Like going back, so we went on. She was the princess of darkness. That's who run this world, right? Ephesians 6:10, it says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, and in the power of his might, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world," right? She's the princess of darkness. The rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So spiritual wickedness in high places. So that's these Edomites, man. That's why he even Trump himself named her the princess of darkness. She's the princess of darkness. That's what Esau is, man. They are the devils, starting with the elites of Edom. They are the ruling class of this world. Let's come back to Psalm 73. I'm gonna get this out. Ephesians, Psalm 73. I'm gonna go to Ephesians 6 again. I'm just read it out the Ephesians 6 out there, because I want to read out the NET. So Ephesians 6, chapter 6, verse 12 says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against the powers, against the world rulers of this darkness," right? The world rulers of this darkness, against spiritual forces of evil in the heavens, right? So spiritual forces of evil in the heavens, man. So that's where Satan dwells. Satan dwells in heaven. He doesn't dwell in the underworld. And basically Esau is the children of Satan, and they're living in their heaven now, which is running the world, being the rulers of the world. They're in their heaven, right? So I'm going to read it again. Ephesians 6:12, it says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against powers, against the world rulers of this darkness," right? Of this darkness. She's the princess of darkness, right? Against spiritual forces of evil in the heavens. Okay, now I'm gonna read it out, the New Living Translation. I'm gonna go to let me go. The translations, right? New Living Translation, it says, "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world." Because that's what she was. She's unknown to a lot of people, right? She's unknown. Just like the elites, they are really unknown to a lot of people. That's why people dismiss it. These claims, these factual claims, and they dismissed it. They a lot of times they try to dismiss it as conspiracy theories, right? Because these people are really unknown, and they do their work in the dark. That's why it says the rulers of the darkness, the rulers of the dark. They do their work behind the scenes in the dark, so nobody really knows about them. It says Ephesians 6:12 out of the NLT, it says, "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in the dark world, against mighty powers in this dark world," right? Against evil spirits in the heavenly places, right? So who control these devils? Who control these demons is the demonic, is Satan. Satan controls these Edomites, man. You know, they are the children of the devil. So they're being controlled by Satan himself. You know, this is amplified. It says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, contending only with physical opponents, right? But against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in heavenly supernatural places," right? So, yeah, man, that's Esau Edom. That's why Trump himself called his lady the princess of darkness, because they run the world, man, in the background. I'm gonna go back to Psalm 72. Yeah, Psalm 72. Go back to that late. Psalm 73. Right, because they run this world in the background, basically the elites. So yeah, they run this world in the background, meaning these elites. Right? See, he named her the princess of darkness. How ironic.
And that's because she's such a killer with donors. We had 4 reporters on this story, and across the 4 of us, we spoke to more than 100 sources. We learned that in these phone calls with companies, Meredith repeatedly invokes President Trump's name. She will say things like, "The boss wants this money." We were told that the asks from different companies range. It could be $5 million to $25 million to $50 million. Behind the scenes, when we speak to CEOs and board members, they acknowledge that there's sort of a price to pay for doing business in this administration. One Wall Street analyst even coined a term, the Trump transaction tax. We were able to learn that for the Ballroom project alone, Apple gave $25 million, Microsoft gave around $10 million, and Amazon gave around $5 million. We were also able to exclusively report that
the devil's name. That dude, Jeff Bezos. I couldn't even think of his name. Bozo. Yeah.
Meta recently made a $10 million contribution to Securing American Greatness, which is a Trump-aligned dark money vehicle. That's on top of Meta's contribution to the inauguration, 2 Easter events at the White House, the Ballroom, and a $22 million contribution to Trump's library as part of a legal settlement. We shared all the facts in our story with the White House. They referred us to President Trump's outside spokesperson. She said that President Trump is the most successful fundraiser in modern political history. She also said one thing has never changed. The president can't be bought.
So what did that mean? You know, that's what I think is what it's called, an oxymoron. But it's because that's what's going on. I'm gonna look up that word oxymoron, because I'm for sure that's exactly what that is. He's talking about the president can't be bought, but that's what it. An oxymoron is a figure of speech that puts two opposing words together. It creates a new, striking phrase. Word oxymoron itself comes from Greek words meaning sharp or dull, which makes the word sharp and dull, which make the word an oxymoron. Yeah, so yeah, that's more or less what it is. Oxymoron, because that's exactly what's going on. He's being bought by these whoever got the most money or whatever. Like he said, I take the 25 million. I take it. Whoever got the better deal, or whoever got the money to offer, basically whoever got the money to offer, he's going for you. So more or less says the president is the most successful fundraiser in modern political history. It says one thing has never changed: President Trump can't be bought. So yeah, it's more or less an oxymoron, right? Because that's exactly what's he's being bought. You know, these politicians go deal with corruption and bribery all the time, just like they were saying. What is it? Even with these Middle Eastern countries, they are bribing him to do this, do that. He's taking money from different people. There's a lot of scandal behind Trump. I'm gonna put down Trump and briberies. Trump and bribery involvement. What? It says President Donald Trump's involvement in bribery and corruption is the subject of ongoing national debate involving official inquiries, allegations of pay-to-play politics, and sweeping changes of anti-bribery laws. These matters may range from domestic campaign finance allegations to the suspension of global anti-corruption enforcement. So there's a lot of debate. They were saying he's the most people. A lot of people out there say he's the most corrupt president that America has ever seen. So you know, there's word in the rumors or whatever of him and being involved in bribery, right? So they're talking about, like I said, it's an oxymoron. So he's one thing has never changed. He can't be bought. But it's up for debate, I guess, right? So I'm gonna just continue on with more proof that whatever these billionaires say is gonna go, starting from the elites of Edom, these international bankers, right? Data centers are going to come, right? That's what it says here. Data centers are going to come. You know why they're going to come? Because it's a plan of the elites. That's why they come. That's why they're going to come, and they're being enforced by their lower luminaries, which are these CEOs and the rest of them, right? The lower luminaries of Edom, these tech billionaires, CEO tech billionaires, and multi-millionaires, and you know, guys like that, or you know, people like that for in general. That's the reason why it's coming.
Every Wednesday since late 2025, residents from around the area have gathered at a local pizza place to discuss the data center. Because only Springdale residents can speak at the Borough Council, this is often the only time that some of those impacted will be heard.
Here's the reality. Data centers are, this is a big tech proposition. These are the wealthiest people in the world. These are the billionaires. And when the billionaires want to do something, they're going to do it. So data centers are going to come. Where and when and how, we've got some influence there. So that's what we need to be focused on, in my opinion. Here's the reality. Data centers are, this is a big tech proposition. These are the wealthiest people in the world. These are the billionaires. And when the billionaires want to do something, they're going to do it. So data centers are going to come. Where and when and how, we've got some influence there. So that's what we need to be focused on, in my opinion. Here's the reality. Data centers are, this is a big tech proposition. These are the wealthiest people in the world. These are the billionaires. And when the billionaires want to do something, they're going to do it. So data centers are going to come. Where and when and how, we've got some influence there. So that's what we need to be focused on, in my opinion.
So like she said, data centers are going to come. Why? Because the billionaires want the data centers to come, right? So there's nothing you can do about it. Even though there's a lot of pushback from the courts, even with these flock cameras, the same thing, which is causing division, because a lot of people are not for these data centers or these flock cameras, which is being pushed by the elites. So there's a lot of people going to have pushback on these plans of the elites, because it's more or less you have no say in anything even involving your life. A lot of it is these data centers are polluting the environment. It's causing man-made droughts. It's a noise hazard. It's irritation because it put a lot of noise in the air. It's basically is an economic economic or ecosystem. It's a negative effect on the ecosystem, right? So, but like she said, they are coming. You know why they're coming? Because the people with all this money, these tech billionaires, they got all the money. So more or less, they got all the power. So whatever they want is going to happen. And that's coming from the top. That's basically coming from the elites, because they run this world. They got all the money, so they run this world. And like I said, this is a part of the fourth industrial revolution. You look up the fourth industrial revolution for yourself, and you will see that it involves the forwarding of technology, AI, which that's what these data centers are based upon, artificial intelligence, AI, robotics, surveillance. And you see that gradually, progressively, as the days continue, the push of robotics, the push of AI, the push of mass surveillance. That's why you got flock cameras, where you got all these robots everywhere now. That they talking about robots or AI taking your jobs, what's called robotics or autonomy, not autonomy, but automation. Keep mixing those words up, whatever. It's called automation, right? Of robotics, automation, and the push of AI, and how robots are taking people's jobs. Like they speak in the World Economic Forum. This guy, Ferrari, whatever his name is, Ferrari, with the advancement of technology, why would we need that many humans? All of these talking points, man, because the elites are want to bring about this for total control, and more or less they want to put devices in you so they can control you. And that's the reason why they need these data centers all over, because everybody's going to their plan is, their scheme and agenda is to get everybody with a device in them, which is a microchip. That's basically what it is. So they need these data centers everywhere so they can keep control over you people, total control. So I'm what is Psalm 73? I'm gonna read this, right? It's talking about these elites. Esau, Edom, right? Talking about Edom. This is out the Psalm 73 out the NET, right? It says, for I was envious, for I envy those who are proud, as I observe the prosperity of the wicked. Right. So you know who the wicked is. It's these Edomites, man, starting with the elites, right? It says, for I envy those who are proud, who are proud, as I observe the prosperity of the wicked, right? Because these Edomites are starting with the elite. They are prospering, right? They're one that's prospering in this world, right? For they suffer not pain, their bodies are strong and well fed, right? They are immune to the trouble. They are immune to the trouble common to men. They do not suffer as other men do, which that's the Lord is flip flopping gradually. These devils are feeling it, but that's basically the elites are still in that stead, right? Arrogancy is their necklace, and violence their clothing. Their prosperity causes them to do wrong. Their thoughts are sinful, right? They mock and say evil things. They proudly threaten violence. They speak as if they rule in heaven, right? And lay claim to the earth. That's these Edomites, man. Starting with the elite banker, we just seen that. The what is it? Ephesians chapter 6 tells you. We just read that they in heavenly places, right? They speak as if they rule in heaven. They the Most High, right? They speak as they are God, right? Second Thessalonians chapter 2 tells you that the wicked said in his mind he think he's the Most High. It's talking about Esau, Edom. The wicked shall be revealed, right? Second Thessalonians chapter 2. Right? Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and 3 says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And that man of sin, the son of perdition is Esau, Edom. And the Edomites, starting with the elites. That's who it is. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Right. So that's how they think. They think they the Most High. Whatever they say goes. Like the lady said, these people are the most rich people, the most wealthiest people, but she didn't say wealthy, but nonetheless, that's what it is. These these billionaires, they got all this money. They the richest people in the world. So whatever they say go, right? They God, right? Basically. Psalm 73 and 9, it says, they speak as if they rule in heaven, and they lay claim to the earth, right? Therefore, they have more than enough food to eat, and even suck up the water of the sea. So, to add to that, to put more proof to that precept there, Psalm 73 and 10 again, at the NET, it says, therefore, they have more than enough food to eat, and even suck up the water of the sea. So what is this guy I brought this up before. Even this guy, Bill Gates, they are trying to buying Bill Gates and Nestle, and I think BlackRock. Buying water reserves. Look, says Bill Gates, BlackRock, and Nestle are heavily involved in the water sector, though their specific activities differ. Rather than buying up natural lakes or rivers, they primarily invest in private farming, water technology, and utility companies to address future global shortages. So they talking about they trying to take over to combat water shortages, man. Because they're gonna give you a good reason of them doing. They're gonna give you a reason why they doing whatever they doing, man. So they buying up these water reserves, man. They trying to take full control, like they said, investing in companies and these utility companies. That's why your bill going up, your light bills going up, utility bills, because they want to add more pinch to your pocket, charging you more things, just like they were saying in the World Economic Forum that your soil, your air, they want to charge you for your soil, even the air you breathe now. That's in the talking of the future, that they're gonna charge you even for the air that you breathe. Right? They're playing God on the earth. The earth is theirs. What is it? World Economic Forum. Air, soil, and air. Not, I don't know how to put it. Not, not a human right. Right. Yeah, this lady right here, man, says water and soil and oxygen should not be infinitely accessible. They are assets that should be included in global economic balance sheets. This is not a satire, meaning it's not a joke. World Economic Forum wants to monetize breathing. This is not a satire, meaning it's not a joke. That's why the scripture says, going back to Psalm 73, it says, Psalm 73 and 9, it says, they speak as if they rule in heaven and lay claim to the earth. Right, they laying claim to the earth. Right, they saying, look, the water, soil, oxygen, hey, man, you got to be charged for that. They laying claim to the earth. Right, this is they speak as if they the Most High. Right, we got to charge you for breathing now, which these corporations are the reason for polluting the earth. But they charging the regular people as if you have control of the pollutants of the world. Which these corporations, they are the ones that are really polluting this world, that these CEOs control, right? Psalm 73 and 9, again, it says, they speak as if they rule in heaven and they lay claim to the earth. Therefore, they have more than enough food to eat, even suck up the water of the sea, right? So that's Esau Edom, man. That's the wicked. He's being revealed, man. They think they the Most High. They're going to charge you for air, water, oxygen, the soil you walk on. You know, they lay claim to the earth, which I'm gonna post that with this same post called Yahawah bahasham Rawchaa. Yeah, man, that's these people, man. That's the elites. Yeah, that's these elites, man. I'm gonna post this once I'm done with this lesson here. Cause more or less, that's the end. So the Lord is showing you, man, these people are wicked, man. You know, all they want to do is take. What is it? Habakkuk chapter 2 tells you that Esau cannot be satisfied, man. That these Edomites can't be satisfied. They're gonna take till there's nothing left, man. Even you're not gonna be left. You know, they can't be satisfied, man. You know, they already got all the money, but that's not enough. They want total control. And then when they got total control, they can dispose of you whenever, however they want to. And more or less, at this rate, as is written, no flesh will be saved. Why? Because this devil is in rulership, which he's not fit to rule. Starting with the elites of the nation of Edom, man. These elites, these major, the ones with all this money, man. The corporations run these billionaire CEOs, tech billionaires. Not starting with them, but they at the bottom. They more or less at the bottom. But it's starting with the elite class bankers, man. Your international world bankers, starting with them. And these corporate CEOs, they just the face of the elites. So I'm gonna go and end it off there. I hope it's edified to the elect. And I want to say, call Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Shalom to the next time, Yahawah, Rawchaa, which means Lord willing, and Abba, Abba.